Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC Hewitt, Fantasy Basketball Analyzer, and I didn't die doing my half marathon yesterday. So, welcome back to the show, assuming you're a returning fan, subscriber, depending on your status. Actually, if you're not a subscriber, please do. We're only 16 away from 1,000 subscribers, and that's a big deal. Anyway, all that aside, it's week 15. We're going to talk about the waiver wire and get you ready to push on into the playoffs. I want to talk a little theory before I start naming the names, okay? The trade deadline just passed, so some things were shaken up. Basically, Orlando's completely shaken up. But I think this creates an interesting time for you to assess kind of strategy of where you are. I think this week is your last week to really try and swing for the fences, right? If you want to go pick up someone from Orlando and you're like, man, Okeke, hopefully this is it. He's going to be a superstar. And maybe Otto Porter comes and he's nothing. Like, go for it. I think it's the right time to take that swing. Like, I was wrong when I was high on Justice Winslow, but I think it's the right time to take that strategy of, look, if it doesn't work, I'll just drop this guy anyway. But go grab someone and hope that you're going to have someone for the next 5 to 6 weeks of the season, depending on how long your season remains. Okay? So we want to make some bolder moves if we can, especially if you're in good playoff position, right? After this week, I think we switched to really trying to grind out, get the most games every week, whether you're streaming in daily or weekly locks league, because you want to make sure you make it in the playoffs, get a good seed, maybe a bye week, depending on your setup. Or if you've got that locked up, you're running away with 1 and 2, start looking way ahead. So let's put up the schedule grid so that we can see how many games are remaining so we can think about those things, right? Now, I've built the spreadsheet. I had it in a different video. I can link it down below, just remaining games overview. But it's something you want to think about. If you're playing all the way till week 21, Clippers, Lakers, and then I think Toronto, you can see it. I can't see it right now, have the lowest games remaining for the whole rest of the season. Now, there is a game with Toronto, Chicago that got postponed that I still have in the back of my head. I don't think it's been rescheduled. So maybe there's one more game it's not accounted for. Luckily, we haven't had too many games like canceled or rescheduled, but we will have to stay on that and see what happens the rest of the year. So that's my overall strategy, right? You want to swing for the fences now, whether or not it helps this week. Try and go big, whether you're in, great playoff position or like trying to go there. I'd say take a chance to really try and get someone. And then after that, get a little more conservative, whether you're thinking ahead of, I'm going to make the playoffs. I want to win when it matters, or I need to win these things. Let's go for each week. I think that's the right overall strategy without knowing your exact team situation, things like that. Without further ado, let's get into it. All the guys we talk about, like every week, is owned in 50% or less. That's a good chance for them roster. And right off the bat, I start by breaking that rule. The biggest name we talked about other weeks, Moses Brown, right now is rostered in 57% of leagues. He's 51 when I was checking yesterday. So he's over that rule. He jumped like 24% in the last 36 hours or something like that. But he was huge. He had the last game, 33 minutes, 21 points, 23 rebounds. Before that, he had 19, 12, 2 steals and 3 blocks. This would be a lofty way to keep it up, especially at those per minute rates. But even if it comes down a little bit, he would be huge for you. Al Horford's been put out for the season. I shouldn't say it's put out for the pasture. It's rough. So drop him, right? In weekly lock leagues, Al Horford was already a drop because he wasn't playing consistently. In daily change, he's worth owning still because he was a top 60 player based on averages. But now, that's out of your mind. You can drop Horford, perfect spot for streaming. And if you happen to be in the 40%, 43%, that Moses Brown's still out there, grab him. He's going to be a better option than most of the guys we talk about from here on for the rest of the season. Go for the upside. After that, I've already touched on it. 36% roster, Chuma Okeke had a big game. A couple good games in a row-ish, right? Against Phoenix, he had 17 points, only 3 rebounds, and 4 three-pointers. If you play him at power forward, the forward situation's going to be weird now in Orlando. But the next game, 37 minutes, but it's against Portland, right? That's a good matchup. That's where we try and go. So we expect to have higher numbers. He had 22, 6, and 4 with 2 steals and 4 threes. That's awesome. I don't know if he's going to run away with the job. You don't know that. No one can tell us that. Even whatever a coach says, coaches lie sometimes. So we won't know until we see it, right? We worry about small sample size. This is a non-existent sample size. It's one game as of recording this. By the time you're watching this, they may have already played the Lakers tonight, but we don't know if Otto Porter is going to come in. And so Chuma Okeke, I think if he's out there, I think you go. You grab him. If it doesn't work out, you just cut him again, right? You turn those streaming spots into upside swings right now. See if it works out. I'm not saying this is going to blow up, but there's the chance. And this late in the season, getting a chance of that, that's great. If you want to go for Otto Porter, he's rostered in 49% of leagues, and you think, hey, he's going to come in here. They're not buying him out. There's no point in buying him out. Watch me jinx it. But like you're saying, no, he's going to come in. He's going to get the forward minutes that they didn't have in Chicago and stuff. Maybe you could go for it. Like, make the swing. I'm going with Okeke at 36% rostered. Next up is Malik Monk. He's 26% rostered, and he stepped up big since the Hornets lost ball for what looks like the rest of the year, for the rest of the fantasy year at a minimum. So last game he had 32 points. He didn't get you much else. I mean, he got 5 threes, which is great, but 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. Like, that's nothing to write home about. In points leagues, it's awesome, but 5 threes, 32 points, and he shot 70%. It's against Miami too. Like, that's a harder matchup. Before that, he had 19, and the stats were spread out a little more. He had 19, 3, and 4 with 2 steals. Again, shot 70%. You can play him at point guard or shooting guard. Shooting guard getting you like 20 points a game at 70% in categories. That's awesome. And in points leagues, this is already great. It compresses to efficient, high scoring. So I think he's worth picking up. I wanted to see another game before I really could give him the like full endorsement of like, yeah, really cut someone. Like, Derrick Rose doesn't have to be here. Go for Malik Monk and stuff. But unfortunately, he didn't play today's game. I actually have the game on. You guys can't see it. On silent on that screen right there. And he didn't play for Charlotte in the overtime against Phoenix. So what are you going to do? But I think Malik Monk's worth the gamble. 26% rostered. I definitely think there are worse options out there. And if he keeps it up, that's going to be great. Jae'Sean Tate's the next guy on my list, and I'm a little surprised he's in this list. He's rostered 33%, and I expected that to be a bit higher. Maybe it's because he doesn't like pop from a scoring standpoint, but he's really giving you things all around. So last game, he finished with 10, 9, and 3 with a steal and 3 blocks. Before that, he had 10, 7, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Like, that's awesome. He's shooting 50%. And I mentioned in the last show, Yahoo just updated his eligibility, so he's shooting guard, small forward, and power forward now. So Oladipo's out of there. We don't know if and when they're going to shut down Wall. Not that they're playing the same position, but, when key components of a team aren't playing, there's still more minutes that everyone has to fill in. If you're playing on Yahoo, at least, he's got 3 position eligibility. He's playing really solid all around. I'm surprised that he's out there. And, I don't expect him to take, like, another leap after this. If what he's giving you right now would help your team, I think it's a solid option. He played 33 and 39 minutes. So I think those minutes are increasing, but it's not going to be a like level road. It's going to be a little up and down, but I think if you looked at it from like a 4-game sample size, you'd be happy at the end of the week when you look at each of these things. Those 4 guys make up the primary options I'm really looking at for this week. It's a shorter list, but I was really trying to take some, swings for upside here. But let's talk about some of the honorable mentions, things I've looked at, people I've seen picking up a lot, right? Khem Birch. It could be worth a look. Like, he's been good for fantasy before. I was hoping that Mo Bamba would really step up with the option, but Wendell Carter's coming there. Wendell Carter isn't there yet. I assume Khem's fantasy life is pretty short-lived. Like, if I'm saying roll the dice, pick up Okeke, but be ready to cut bait again, I definitely feel like even lower about Khem. He's out there. I'm seeing the movement. Go for it. It's really about Orlando. Like, if you want to go for James Ennis, okay. Like, roll the dice. The thing's in a complete upheaval. See what happens. Maybe get a real contributor. Just don't cut too much, right? Switching away from Orlando for a minute, there's Daniel Gafford. I'm seeing him getting picked up some spots. We've seen him put up good, like, per minute ratios in Chicago. Can he do that for Washington? Maybe. Washington's center rotation's been frustrating all year in the way, like, the Knicks guard rotation's been. Or just Anthony Melton not getting enough playing time. So, if you want to go for it, he's only rostered in 9%. He only played 14 minutes, but he had a good game. I'm not sure that the minutes are going to jump up for the former second-round pick to, like, really be worth it. But it's worth the gamble depending on what you have to cut. Like, if I'm looking at him at 9% rostered or Hamidou Diallo at 22% rostered, I still would rather go for Diallo. Detroit really seems to like him and go for that chance. But it's hard to say when he's only played 1 game out of the last, like, 14, and even after playing him 19 minutes for Detroit, immediately missed the next game. So it's real, like, what do you need now? are you swinging for upside? That pretty much rounds out my list for the rest of the week. You can leave a comment below if there's someone else you're thinking about. If you're looking at MCW, I think we know what we're getting from him. Dwayne Bacon, there's a real theme. It's like just what's going on in Orlando. Here's the scoop ups for, boy, if they stumble into 35 minutes a game, this is going to be huge late in the season. But you can leave a comment. I'll try and keep tabs. Other people can answer too. Thank you for watching. Make some smart pickups and go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts. And I'll be back soon with another video for you. Hey, you stuck around till after the credits. I forgot to say at the top of the show, I'm wearing my new 76ers shirt. So shout out to Keith, who is one of the original subscribers to the channel. I got it for you and any other 76ers fan. I found a weird enough shirt, which was, Ninja Turtles for some reason with Philly, even though the Turtles are out of New York. But I thought it was strange and fun, and I got it with you in mind. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week.